listening to Planet Vero Radio. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. We're broadcast on 101.7 FM Real Radio WCZR, and we're podcast on Spreaker and then distributed on its platforms. My co-host Jeannie Roller and I are going to talk today. Wow, Jeannie, another serious subject, and it's about information that you have, and I'm going to let you run with it. But the premise of it is patient images that were hacked from medical systems, medical technology systems. I want to get this right. And then dispersed on the internet. So these are patient photos, I'm going to say intimate photos, things that shouldn't be out on the internet. I mean, what more are they going to put on the internet? And the poor patient doesn't have any idea. And again, here we go with trusting different systems. And, how do these not get hacked? And wow, how does this stuff happen? Jeannie, go with it.
Well, I have articles from 3 different sources, from MedPage, from the New York Post, and from Lehigh Valley News. And a hospital in Pennsylvania had their information technology systems hacked, and they, of course, use electronic medical records. So at least 3 different patient photos have appeared on the dark web, and these pictures are of nude pictures of these patients who were undergoing cancer treatment.
Wow.
So, yeah, wow. I mean, on top of having cancer, breast cancer mainly, now they have to contend with, there are nude pictures of them out there on the internet. The thing, it's a ransomware group called Black Cat, which is Russian-based, according to these articles, and they have done it to numerous healthcare systems. The thing about this information being on the dark web is that they can put it out next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now. Once they have the information, they always have it. They have it on a database in the black web, and they sell it to whoever's willing to buy it or bid the highest on it. So you never know when these pictures might appear.
Mm-hmm.
Many patients may not even have realized, even though in their informed consent, there's usually a little tiny part in informed consents in general saying that there may be photographs or video taken. Most patients really don't know for sure if there are or aren't. So, this is very problematic. I feel very, very bad for these, I'm assuming, women
mm-hmm.
who have had these pictures spread around, because it would be devastating, I think.
Well, it is devastating. Oh, that's
yes.
Absolutely devastating, and especially if you knew that it was you. So,
and not only were there photos of patients, there was all the patient information like names, addresses, social security numbers, who's your parents, what's your mother's maiden name,
mm-hmm.
et cetera, employment information. So not only are there the pictures, but there's also all that information that hospitals collect that can help the black market people sell on. They usually bundle information like this together and sell it so that someone wants to steal your identity. They have all that information at their fingertips. So when a hospital system is hacked, it's very serious, because all that information they need to steal your life is right there.
Yeah. And it seems to be pertinent for the hospital administration, paperwork and all that, to gather all of that to be able to even work with you. I mean, my experience, yeah.
A social security number is not needed for health reasons. It's not needed. Medicare assigns now a Medicare number. They no longer use your social security number as an identifier, but I noticed still many hospitals use the social security number. I was at an appointment today with my mother, and they still had the last 4 of her social security number on a paper.
Yeah.
So, they do not need that number, but yet they still collect it and keep it.
Yeah.
And you cannot, a technology system, you can make it harder for them to hack into, but it is never 100% proof that they can't get into it. So having that information all in one tidy little place is very bad. Hacking of medical systems has risen over the past 5 years because, I mean, it's just a wealth of information.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's a source of how much revenue.
Yeah.
Sad and
It
sick.
says
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doubled from 2016 to 2021.
Wow.
So, and they're always behind times on these stats. So you can imagine how much more it's even done since then. And, you know, you don't know as a patient what all is out there. And, you know, some people may never know that their nude picture is out there.
Mm-hmm.
It is just heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It's just, I mean, it's something else that you just don't want to hear. You don't want to deal with. I mean, you certainly have to trust to a certain extent, you know, that people are trying to do the best that they possibly can. Like you say, Jeannie, I mean, no system is infallible. It's not foolproof. A lot of people, even still that I know, I don't want to have anything to do with an internet. They say that. I don't want, why does this stuff have to be on computers? And it's just the way it is now. I mean, it used to be not that many years ago, everything was still paper driven. But even still with paper trails, there were things that happened, but maybe not as quick or as severe as this. It's just horrible. And as far as you mentioned, Jeannie, before, there's a section on the informed consent paperwork. The ones that I've seen, it's pretty readily stated that photos or video will be possibly taken. I mean, I always opt out for it. I honestly don't know what you should do with it. We've talked about that so many times. Should you have it videoed? That way you have a copy of it. I personally think you should have it videoed if it's your own personal copy and that's it, and you are the only one that has control of that it's not in a system. But how do we do that? I mean, it's another movement that we need to address, that how, you know, the patient is the only one that can videotape it, but you know that's not going to, I don't think that's going to wash, because it's kind of like the police cams that they use now and all kinds of, you know, different video cams that people hold. So, I mean, what's the answer for it? But we got to talk about it.
Well, yeah. And the other thing, Cindy, that a lot of people don't know is that during pre-op and post-op, when you've been sedated, that they take fully nude pictures to judge for bed sores or you know, injury from the procedure. So a lot of people don't know that those pictures do exist. I don't think that I've never heard of anyone being given a copy of those pictures when they request their medical records.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps there have been people have been given copies, but I know of no one that has received those pictures. So, I mean, you know, there are many instances where nude pictures of a patient could be in a hospital system without the patient really knowing there are those pictures.
Well, I think some of it too, and you know, we've all heard the expression, you know, when you assume something, you know, what happens. I think so many people assume, you know, and kind of rightfully so, that everything has been done to make it secure as it possibly can be. I mean, that's everyone's hope, and it's not always the case. And, you know, when you find out that it wasn't the case, wow, I mean, there's a lot of trust that just goes by the wayside, and a lot of, you know, I want to say PTSD, all kinds of other things that can happen because, wow, I mean, I didn't think that. I mean, you're so vulnerable. Anyway, we got like 30 seconds left, Jeannie, but a great conversation about this. You know, we got to talk about it, and we got to try to figure out a better way. There's always going to be hackers now. There's always going to be that. So what do you think?
I don't know. We haven't even gotten into the personal cell phones and devices that are not protected.
Right. Right. And we're talking about medical personnel that have their own personal cell phones with them. And we've seen that stuff on Instagram. We've seen it on other things. And it's not even heartbreaking. It's disgusting. But anyway, on that note, you know, let's have the conversation. You've been listening to Planet Vero Radio. Please stay tuned.